Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Hope that you're having a wonderful day here today and are ready for it to get maybe just a little bit better. We have in the top right the strongest ladder player in the world currently. It is Speed. I've kind of been ramping up on the number of Speed games that we're looking at because he is so much fun to watch. Currently, he is number 1 and number 2 on the ladder with his Terran, including an account that is undefeated, which is pretty damn rare. It's like 28-0, and yeah, he is playing out of his mind. He had a great season of SSL, and I am becoming a big fan. I think a lot of people are becoming big fans of Speed. His play has been phenomenal. He is going up against GG 3.33. I don't know who this is, actually. I tried to take a look, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll probably figure it out. This is there was nothing about the account that kind of gave it away. 3.33 is a very old, very well-known clan. I've known people from that clan forever. So yeah, very highly ranked Protoss on this ladder. So we'll see how he ends up going. We're on the map Deja Vu, and GG is going to be able to scout Speed first. We'll see if Speed tries to save his gas or not. Puts an SCV right up there. And he's going to skip an SCV and take that 11 gas, but also attack the probe. So when you see a situation like this, he's cut a lot of his economy to make sure he doesn't get offensive gassed. Also, the place that his barracks is sitting, he was wanting to do a gasless expansion. Now, you might look at that and say, well, why not just let him take your gas then? You know, keep your build order more on track. You can't do that. If they scout you quickly while you're trying to take a gasless expansion and they steal your gas and you try to expand, if they happen to be doing something like Proxy Robo Reaver or a ranged Goon Rush, you're actually just going to die and there's nothing to do about it. So you kind of have to take your gas right away there. But anyways, this does slow down Speed quite a bit. You can see some very good micro from this probe doing a lot of moving shot attacks. On to Speed's SCV, it's already down to 35 health. This one at 29. Back at home, GG not making a Zealot, which I think is smart. I don't see a reason to make a Zealot in this situation. When the probe comes, they're going to be ready for that Zealot no matter what. And the Marine actually being sent out immediately. Huh. Okay. It looks like this was checking just to see if there was like maybe a proxy gate in the center with a Zealot on the way. Yeah, that was kind of an interesting and weird move out. But right now, the probe blocking this ramp, it's looking to catch the SCV as the SCV comes out so it can do moving shots against it. Now, he goes hunting for the SCV, but Speed was already making his way around. So that was a little bit of a mistake here from GG. And, yeah, the SCV will be able to get away at least for now. We'll see if that probe catches up at some point. You can catch up if you just give natural directions. Like, let's say that you take a worker and you click it across the map. It'll path, like, pretty well there. But if you micro a worker the entire way, you can actually choose a better path for it. And oftentimes, like, catch up to a unit that is just clicked across the map. Either way, that does get picked off pretty quickly. Second gate going up. Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting already. So range is on the way. Nexus is on the way. And just going for the second fact right away, I think that this has to do with the way, the style that Speed plays with. Speed does a lot of early pressure builds where he'll move out with like Marine tank, Vulture rather. And this has been something I've been trying to talk about a little bit, where you can absolutely go. I casted a game in the last couple weeks at least where the player went for double gate and we kind of looked at the placement of the goons and counted up the goon count. And it's like, yeah, if you go for 2 gate into Robo, your scouting will be a little bit later, but things like 2 factory just won't hurt you if you stand your units in the right places. Now, the Robo is coming up afterwards, so this is a very, very, very safe play from GG in regards to he's not going to die to any push, for sure. Now, he's sending 2 Dragoons across. This is a little bit dangerous. He killed the first Vulture, so he knows there's not much out on the map. But this Vulture will most likely lay traps behind the Dragoons. So this type of move at high levels to attack the bunker isn't really done that often anymore. Just because there's always a Vulture out there. Normally it's the first one that he already picked off because Speed just did dive in with that. But if they lay mines behind the Dragoons and the Dragoons get pushed back, you're going to be in for a hard time. Now, some mines being laid. That is like a very natural retreat path. Sometimes in situations like this, what the Protoss player will do is they'll walk home in a very funny pattern to try to make it very difficult. Now, it looks like he expected there to actually not be a Vulture out right now. I think he might have looked at that and said, okay, I think you're going tank right after add-on, which is pretty popular right now, but that was not the case. Ooh, good mine hit. There is a bit of micro going on here, and we actually missed it because I was checking out if that Vulture was going to get picked or not, but he did end up getting the siege tank. You can see a ton of damage on his Dragoons because of it. So as soon as another tank is out, he will start losing Dragoons. But the bigger thing is he's having to mine with repair with 4 SCVs. So this costs a lot of money to have 4 SCVs not mining, and also they're repairing this whole time. So yeah, definitely he's doing a good job of keeping that pressure on. Third Nexus on the way. These are some defensive mines in case the Dragoons run in and try to chase. And of course, he doesn't know yet if it... I mean, it could be a DT follow-up. Probably not, but it could be. That was a missed shot. That's insane. It wouldn't have killed because already a lot of shields came back. But he missed the shot there. You miss 1 in 256 shots on even ground. Sometimes you see a missed shot and it's like, well, that was not, you know, if he doesn't miss that shot, the second shot kills the goon. So I guess in this case, probably nothing happens, but just something to note. So as the observer comes out, he will be able to clear up those mines in the middle. Just consistent Dragoon production. Reaver Tech coming up next, or the Reaver Tech part of the wall at this third base. Looking into Speed's base at this time, we can see this is kind of an interesting turret placement. It's very central, which I kind of like. I kind of like the position of it and the position of these mines. But there is a little path where shuttles can fly up here. Now, one funny thing is the shuttle can't unload where these depots are, which is where is out range of the turret. But actually, it could land a Reaver here, and that wouldn't be hit. So maybe if you're going to put something like this here, you put a mine here. Something to think about. Yeah, everyone has their own way that they like to place turrets or cannons or, you know, spores, spines, whatever it may be. Like, everyone has kind of their own ideas about what they like defensively. And that's actually a very interesting one from Speed because it doesn't cover that top edge of the map. Now, some Speed Vultures running past. Going to get a few probes here, and you can actually see a pretty decent worker advantage here for Speed. So he should be feeling pretty good getting this damage. Of course, he doesn't know the exact probe count, but because he hasn't made his comm stats yet and because he's really hit his SCV production, he's definitely going to know that he's at least equal, probably above. And if you are around equal up into the 50s, that's always a really good spot for Terran. Now, an interesting little run around here. It looks like just GG had no idea, but he sets up a couple siege tanks with his 4 remaining Marines. And in fact, is he going to get the Reaver Tech before the Speed finishes? It certainly looks that way right now. Oh my gosh, that is actually kind of a big deal. Drops the Reaver out. The Marines are almost got, oh my god, the Marines so close. 1 Marine hit from death there on killing the shuttle. And he will end up getting some probes as well. I would say that this was 100% worth it, but that was 2 siege tanks. And there's no siege tanks left, just this one that just popped out, and he is adding another add-on. But he's going to be very, very low on siege tanks against an already pretty big Dragoon count as well as Reavers. So just something to note is that even though that seemed to me to be very, very good for Speed, the odds of him being able to attack anytime soon feel very low. Even his defensive capabilities, like, he'll be okay because he's already got a lot of defensive structures up and everything. But there's just, like, after you make a move like that, 100%. You've traded, you know, army for a little bit of economy and some of their tech. So you're just going to have to expand. And as soon as you know that is GG, you should be expanding as well. He adds a second robo as well as a citadel, but I do want to see that fourth nexus go down. Okay, he adds another gate. Like, he sees 6 factories, so I get it in a way. But, like, I think you can look at that and say, okay, he's sacrificed a lot of units to do all this damage to me. He can't honestly attack. And he has a probe down here, but hasn't started the nexus. So unfortunately, not going to be able to as the vulture gets on top of it. And now, whenever that fourth base is coming up, it's going to be a bit later than I think it could have been. If GG ends up losing this game, you know, that's going to be something I think that we can look at and say, okay, well, this was kind of pointless. Like, you could have made a nexus. Like, you see him adding these. 3 of these is worth more than a nexus. Okay, so you can make the nexus, then you can make those gates, and your economy doesn't change that much. And it's like, okay, well, what are you missing out on? Are you missing out on like 3 zealots? Well, how many units did you already kill this game? Okay, so the 3 zealots are not going to be the backbreaking thing against this push. And in fact, there is not a push. This is a third base coming up. Well, enough harping on that. We can see really good mines. Look at how many mines he has. This is much more than most people put out. This is a lot more mines than most people have in their base against this counter Reaver play. I gotta say, because even with the current level that people defend their bases, generally the speed shuttles fly in and find some damage. I like how much he's defending. I do not like this secondary turret, though, because, again, this top area is pretty open. So I feel like, yeah, if he could have just shifted that turret to, like, there, that would have been a lot better, in my opinion. But everyone has their own take on it. A lot of turrets at this natural expansion as well. Doesn't want those shuttles flying by very easily. Moving up a large chunk of his army. That fourth nexus has finally been started as he's going to land his third. 8 gates, double robo, Psystorm on the way. This is gearing up to be like a really good game. Definitely, I feel like speed is ahead here. It's not by like a gigantic margin. The Protoss is really gone for a very good fighting army. The double robo play with Psystorm and everything, always really good at taking battles and kind of making the game long and very skill focused. The Vulture's actually rotating up and doing a bit of harass. Moves like this are really, really strong. To be able to trade out the Vultures kind of for anything makes you very, very happy when you're playing a style like this. And I would say against a style like the double robo, it's very good. Because you do want to build up like your siege tank count. You want to build up your Goliaths a little bit as well. And the thing is, you get so many Vultures, you need to trade them out. So trading them out for anything can be really, really good. Now, 3 shuttles full of Zealots. There are some High Templars coming as well. That Nexus is up. Vulture sitting in the main. Oh, we actually... Yeah, okay, we do have a science facility up here. And he just got his +1 armor, but hasn't started any +2 yet. So the upgrades are a little bit slow in this particular game. For both sides, actually. A lot of mines being laid around as Speed continues to kind of run around the map and just see what he can get. Just picking off a few units here and there, laying some mines, keeping his opponent busy, getting some scouting done. And here we go. We're actually going to have... a drop in. Now, the red shuttle actually had the Reavers in it, so that went down pretty quickly. And you can see he absolutely stomps this drop. A lot of mines are gone. The siege tank is gone, but he stomps the drop. When you get destroyed that hard in a drop, I don't know if you're going to dive into the main base again. And now, with a lot of Dragoons down here, Zealots coming out from here, he just lost 3 shuttles. Speed is taking this opportunity. It's the perfect opportunity to move his units to the high ground from this defensive location to a more offensive location. Very, very smart plays here from Speed. Worker count, very similar. Army size, very similar. But realistically, if you're sieged, this army is going to be a bit better. Now, here comes GG running in. He's going to have to pull back pretty quickly. Maybe he can get a couple good size storms. But yeah, as those zealots dry up, yeah, very good pullback. Very excellent pullback there. Notice how he only lost a couple dragoons. You can really... I'm actually got some chills from that. This is making me really happy to see, because you can find a lot of pro Protoss players where they'll just stay in the engage too long. When you see something like this, where the guy has 20 plus dragoons and he only loses 2 in the battle, it's like, oh, yes, exactly. That's how you want to play. That's once, as your zealots are dying, you have to be like, all right, we're almost ready to pull back here. The zealots are really the expendable units. You want to keep everything else alive as much as possible. All right, dropping in a couple speed shells of zealots here, but too many ranged Goliaths doesn't really do anything of value there. Fourth base is probably, okay, yeah, probably something he was going to think about, and it would have been either here or here. So it looks like Speed wants to set up the center of the map. This is like a very choking location. I think that this is good if you just continually build turrets and lay mines. Like, as long as you're doing those two things, you're kind of making it so that Protoss has to stay on the periphery or do a full engage. So right now, Protoss is kind of stuck on the periphery. He actually runs through some mines that are a little bit sloppy. I think he was trying to attack move down here, but made a mistake there. He has that 5th base up. He's sending his probes to it. But the 4th base on very good time here from Speed. Setting up more and more missile turrets. EMP on the way for Speed, as well as that +2. +2 attack also coming up for our Protoss player. This is such a cool base. Size storms are very good here, by the way. So, like, if this position gets broken, it can be really painful. And speaking of which, there is a little bit of a size storm drop, but only gets a couple SCVs. Very quick reaction speed there. From Speed, you can see he's floated the barracks. He has a lot of missile turrets, so it's hard to get anything out. But even one High Templar could, if you're not quick, just erase your mineral line for the most part. More missile turrets going up. Very, very important. You want to clog this area with everything. You want to make it really hard to see. You want to have a ton of mines and everything so that it's really hard for them to get in and actually punish your minerals. And once you have this, you've choked out so much of the map. It's really hard. Like, they can't really attack into here. They could try to attack up here, but you're going to be able to move in that direction really quickly. A couple speed shuttles coming in. Looks like he's actually Holy crap. That was stupid looking. He killed so much with those mines. Those offensive mines were so insane. Oh my god, that was like some of the sickest offensive mines there. What a great circling there of GG. GG actually has a huge bank at this point. I would love to see some additional gateways down here. He's got 10 gates, but that's not actually enough at the moment. Now, Speed moving forward. Going to continue to attack. GG, just GG's. I actually wonder. It feels like he kind of gave up there, because this was actually like a pretty quality game. It felt like we were in an okay position there for GG. I want to just run through real quick, because, okay, he's starting to get bank. He got these drops in, and it's like, okay, he's got a little bit of a bank. We want to see him add a ton of gateways at this point. I think it's okay to make the 5th base first. So I want to take a quick look. So adds a couple gates, macroing, engage, pulls back, remacroing. Now again, I'm not sure exactly who this is. I think that this is a pro. Like, his play was very good. Obviously, there at the end, he had a bit of minerals and gas saved up and no gates in the bottom left, which is a little bit weird. You never know. Maybe mentally he had given up. Like, right, there's a size storm drop and everything. He's maxed, but when you max... Okay, see, he brought the probe up to make... This is for gateways 100%, just so you know. Okay, so like as you max out, that's one way you can do it, is you max out and then you just make 1 million gates because all this money's coming in, and then you remax really quickly. So he's kind of like, look at this setup. Okay, so he's got like a group of goons here, group of goons here. These are stopping the movements into his expansion type areas. And he's just got some units in the center to kind of reinforce wherever they need to. And it looks like he lost these goons so quickly. I think he literally gave up there because the pylon was just finishing. He was going to add the gateways in. And it, like, this was still a very good game, but you know, it is a ladder game. This isn't like you're in the ASL, so he might have looked at this and said, fuck. You know? What more can you say when that happens to you? So yeah, I think that's what happened here is he was just like, okay, well, I'm not too happy with that. Attack, whatever, requeue. But a cool game. And I really like the choking of the center. Taking this as a base, I think, was a smart play. There are ways to try to punish this where you really flood units in and then you start getting Psy Storms down that hit siege tanks and SCVs. So there are dangers to taking a base like this. But yeah, that was kind of an interesting game. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Speed just absolutely killing it. When I figure out who GG is, I'll let people know. And yeah. I will see you guys later.